Hello, everyone, and I'm going to talk about a little bit about the Synagogue of Satan and how that has negatively affected the two children of Israel. I came across a YouTuber who does a podcast. Her name is Sabby Sobs. She looks like a black American, and she has a lot of good people on her show. But she had discussed regarding the this week, apparently on the 7th or over the weekend till now, that the state of Israel in what is now known as the Middle East has orchestrated a congregation of 1,000 pastors to come and visit their nation. And apparently, just kind of listening to her whole podcast, and I would encourage you to go over there and listen to it as well. At least with that particular podcast that came out today, which is Wednesday, what is today, the 9th? So anyway, they're over there, and apparently there are whining and dining them, and I'm talking about the Israeli government, and probably passing them some cash or promises of cash or prominence, allegedly. But what she, as I understand, what she was kind of signaling and warning us is the efforts of them doing that is because a lot of people here in America are not signing on to that nation as being the people of the great book who are chosen for a promised land. And she also goes into the fact that so many of our, not, I don't want to say our, but so many black pastors were actually in attendance. And it looks like, just kind of doing some more research on the back end, it looks like they're asking for more. Like they're going to try to bring over thousands of people who are who have their own maybe congregations throughout the black neighborhoods, for where you have descendants of American slaves that attend. And she was kind of, it sounds like she was sending a warning to everyone in our lineage, with our historical lineage of being slaves in America, and also too that we are the true 12 tribes, kind of sending up a warning flare that to be aware of what is going on. I didn't see this in the regular news, and it would make sense that they probably would not advertise this, because they want the messaging to go through to the congregants that are still attending traditional churches, whether it be in-house or online or through audio. And I thank her for bringing that out. Of course, for me, what I take from this is confirmation of the dismantling of the great Satan and the demons and those who are workers of lawlessness, confirmation that their power has ceased. And now they are having to scramble, because what they have left, if anything, and I don't think they have this left, but influence. And so they're using, allegedly, quite possibly, trying to use these men and women to, I would suggest, somehow using to draw the vital energy and spirit of the true chosen people, so that they can use that and work off of that. They will fail. that it will not be successful. I don't know how far we'll get with white people here in America. Um, if you haven't already, you can look at the statistics about how many people attend church and how many don't. And I'm telling you, it's lopsided against the church. Most people in America are no longer going to the pastor's house. But you do have those, especially maybe some latent Gen Xers. But as I understand, a lot of the baby boomers and maybe even the silent generation still frequent churches. But because of so many things that have happened within American churches, you just had this great falling away of the masses. So, I mean, I'm not too worried about the effect that that will have because I don't think it's going to really have any effect. It's a signpost for me, and I would suggest for all the others who have been enlightened about the times and season that we are currently in, whether you be on YouTube or not, or on another platform, the times and seasons that we are really at the closing door of the power of the great evil that has ruled over this planet. And their world is pretty much kaput. What we are now anticipating is for the downing of the great Satan, and what that means is that there's going to be a cataclysmic event that will take place. But I want to read you a particular scripture. You will find this in Revelations chapter 2, verse 9. And oh, you know what? Actually, I'm going to read 8 as well. So it says, and to the angel, again, Revelations chapter 2, verse 8 and 9. And to the angel of a congregation of Smyrna, write, these are the things that he says, the first and the last, who became dead and came to life again, in brackets. And number 9, I know your tribulation and poverty, but you are rich, and the blasphemy by those who say they themselves are Jews, and yet they are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. So, how can we tell what would be with the barometer of this? Well, in that scripture, there is a reference to kind of guide us a little bit. And so it kind of leads you to 2 Corinthians 11, verse 14. And I'm going to also read 15. And it says, and no wonder, for Satan himself keeps transforming himself into an angel of light. And what that means is that, Satan has the ability to tell the truth. But what we have to understand is that it's not the unvarnished truth. It's a truth with a slant. It's a truth with a snare. It's a truth with a racket. There's something that binds you. So let's take, for instance, that you do go to a conference and you listen to a certain people, and then you get this little envelope full of whatever, as if you were in the mafia, but you have to do something for them. There's something that you owe them. I think that this lady was stating on our podcast that the ministers or the pastors who were invited were actually, everything was paid for. And honestly, I actually saw that on another article when I Googled um, the invite, that they were actually paying for them to come out to that part of the world. And you can imagine that they were probably wined and dined. I'm talking about the pastors. They've been wined and dined and quite possibly, allegedly, seduced to whatever messaging. And who else knows what could be going on behind that? If there were other rituals and rites that were taking place that maybe the pastors did not see. We live in a world where I would suggest to you that because Satan and the demons are bound, that the human element is kind of left up to their own devices. So they may still be using these types of rituals and tricks behind closed doors. Let me go ahead and read verse 15. It goes on to say, "It is therefore nothing great if his ministers also keep transforming themselves into ministers of righteousness, but their end shall be according to their works." And so, how can we, in that, it begins to tell us what are the works that we can recognize the synagogue of Satan? Well, we know that Satan is the great arch deceiver that continues to change himself into a form of light. He can use the truth, he can use mathematics, he can use the things of the earth, but it is to the benefit of a very few, himself, but most importantly, it is to your detriment, even unto death. But not just simply dying, but suffering, being deprived of your pursuit of liberty and happiness, to bind you, to chain you to sin, to chain you to suffering. There is an element of selfishness and self servingness to the great Satan, the demons. It is this, I'm going to have it all, and you will have whatever I decide to give you, if I decide to give you anything. And also his works of bloodletting. The demons and Satan wars and battles and disease and famine, changing reality to reduce us to a certain corner of the earth, not allowing us to know the truth about the possibilities of the earth, and how that the earth is different than the world, to paint reality that it has always been the way that Satan has ruled all of the worlds that he has been allowed to rule. The great liar, as they say. And so we can just juxtapose that the ministers would be doing the same. So we can imagine that um, a key descriptor would be the exercise of power that they would have in Satan's world, versus the true tribe of Israel would not have that power. They would not be his ministers. So I don't know how much of their whining and dining will work at this juncture. Um, but I suspect it will not have the intended effect that they are hoping for, because we are long gone from this world. We have literally, as a people, and I'm talking about the descendants of American slave, we have literally been detached from this world, mind, body, and spirit. Even if we are working, it's more like a general malaise. We're not trying to get ahead and try to get something out of this. We know from a shadow beyond a doubt that there is nothing in this world that we could possibly have anymore. And I suspect that um, consciousness is from the greatest of us to the lowest bottom rung of us, that we are in each category of descendants of American slaves. We realize that this is not our world, and it will never be our world. I consider this a last ditch effort from those who have been blessed in Satan's kingdoms. It is a last ditch effort for them to hold on to something that has already been removed from them. And I have said this before in some of my other videos that we are just looking at the the pangs of detoxifying or detoxing from power that they and others have been given. And so, just in quick closing, the reason why this is so important to understand is because of the Hebraic, or well, I messed that up, the Hebrew promise from the Most High. In Hebrews again, chapter 6, 13, it says, "For when God made his promise to Abraham, since he could not swear by anyone greater, he swore by himself." 14 saying, "Assuredly, in blessing, I will bless you, and in multiplying, I will multiply you." Goes on to say 15, "And thus after Abraham had shown patience, he obtained this promise." And simply the promise was basically that Abraham's seed would be blessed with a land and with the authority to bless all the families of the earth. And that part of that blessing that you should all consider is to obtain what Adam had lost, which is perfection, mind, body, and spirit in harmony with the Most High, God, the creator of the universe. And to be able to have the earth as a place for authority, for rulership, and for bringing back what was lost from through the imperfection process that was a part of Satan's, I guess, sin against God himself, and what put Satan and the demons in the prison that they're in right now. So when they say, if you bless Israel, you yourself will be blessed, that is true. And what we found out, and what we're going to find out, is that the true Israel that was supposed to be blessed wasn't. and because of the Synagogue of Satan saying that they were the chosen people when they really weren't. And this was another great deception that Satan has perpetrated upon many worlds. And it has been a stumbling block for all nations, actually. But again, things are different now, and the air is different now, the atmosphere is different now, the spirit is different now, and the world that is in this closing, think of it as the curtain kind of sliding slowly on this world to a close. And that's what we're in the last part of that curtain actually completely closing out this world. And so that's what I see when I was listening to Savvy Sobs, was that, oh, this is another indication that they have lost the power. And so now they're scrambling to try to see if they can pull in the spirit and the life force of the true Hebrew people here in America that have nappy hair and dark skin, and that have been under a pharaoh and under a whole country that has had them enslaved and has treated them badly all this time. They will fail because our spirit is not, because we decided that it should shift. This world is not doing that because we decided that. It is time for that shift to be in operation right now. And it is something that we do not control, but that we are just going into it. So anyway, not too many people are going to church the masses are not going to church, whatever little bit that they can get from any of the congregants that go to secular churches right now, okay, then I guess they'll get a little bit of that, but it won't stop what is already unfolding. Thank you.